Team WFS arrived in Sweden 2 weeks ago, but before we got down to business, we decided to hit the town. And on our first night out, we celebrated Sweden's victory in the World Hockey National Championships. While celebrating was fun, the real reason we went to Sweden was to learn about clean technologies, and the first stop was Gothenburg Energy, where we learned about Big Glen. And here Alan is playing with the bottom tip of Big Glen. We then visited one of the largest Swedish companies in the world, Volvo, and saw some old classic cars, cars that when I see on the road give me goosebumps. And we also learned about a concept car that was designed by all women. Next stop, a Swedish castle where we got to see what royalty lived like. JP was trying to decide where he would put his flat screen TV. Vestrios gave us our first glimpse into what an old European town looked like as we got a walking tour and learned about the history of the old city. This is actually a hotel room that is put in a tree that someone stays in every night of the year. These two idiots were not allowed. The next night changed me forever. We started by learning about the Vikings and where they planted their ships thousands of years ago. Here's the land which used to be covered by water when the Vikings roamed Sweden. After learning the history, I realized that I had to become a Viking. I learned how to cook traditional Viking meals in a real Viking kitchen. We played Viking music and sang and danced around the table. I was truly becoming a Viking. I steered my team on the oldest Viking rowboat in the land and heard old Viking tales. Finally, I was a Viking, ready to set sail and pillage. But first, I needed to take a nap on my Viking bed for the day that was ahead. I woke up the next morning and set sail on the Viking ship I had built in my sleep. I cruised the Swedish waters, and by that night I was a Viking. I had conquered Vestrios, and now it was time to move on to Stockholm to see what damage I could cause. I roamed the streets and learned about the different neighborhoods in the old city. I saw the old canals and everything that the city had to offer, so I one day could conquer the great city of Stockholm. But, like any smart Viking, I knew that I had to wait my time and figure out the best way to take over the new city, and that would be through the parliament. So, I toured the parliament and learned about the different parties in the Swedish government, and realized which party could use my vote and how I could slowly take over Sweden. All this tactical thinking led me to one place and one place only, the ice bar, to let loose and stop thinking about how crazy I am for actually thinking that I could take over Stockholm, a city that's 1,000 years old. After coming to my senses, I did what any Viking would do, set sail through the archipelago, and looked at the homes that my past Vikings had built on the beautiful land of Sweden. Our journey was done, and Team WFS was now officially the Viking conquerors of Sweden.